That's right. Three Wheel Bicycle Podcast. I'm your host, Stevie V.
Josh.
Coming live out of Casper, Wyoming. Thank you, everybody that's tuned into the Anchor and the Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, and everybody tuned in. Facebook Live.
What's up?
What is happening? Three-wheelers, right? We named them three-wheelers.
What's up, three-wheelers?
Trying to get this damn feed up on here.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure we are going live.
Put your feet on there.
How's everybody's week? Good,
Hey,
hopefully.
You're Stevie. I'm Joshin.
Oh yeah.
We got a guest.
Yeah, we got a
I
guest
am
today.
A special guest, Steve.
That's right.
Special.
Don.
We truly appreciate you coming on the show,
I
man.
appreciate you having me. I know we've been talking about doing this ever since Josh's fundraiser over at, which is it's crazy that you had it at Oil City. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that's. I mean,
Right.
considering I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But it went well, and I'm glad to see that you're up and moving, and so to speak. So
Oh, yeah, thank you.
good to see. Good
Yeah.
To see.
How?
I mean, it's still going. Healing's still going. Not working yet, but I'm getting there
Takes time, man.
for sure.
Shit, chat does.
Kind of got hit by a car, so.
I don't know why it's not bringing the video up on here, but you know what? We're still
know.
recording.
But look, it says. Yeah, let's go. It says the live video hasn't started yet.
What the man?
Oh, that's probably why you didn't get the countdown.
Yep.
Sad.
Restart.
It says I'm live.
Does it? Are you live on?
I'll stop it. Just restart it.
Fuck it.
Man, we're not batting too fucking hot today.
Is your cord hooked up in the right fucking spot?
Yep. Yep. Says we're live right now.
Live.
We might need to turn the cord part up, maybe.
Yeah, we need to do that for
The
sure.
phone. There we go. There we go. We had wonderful technical difficulties.
Hey, look, it says it's live now.
Okay, sweet.
Hey, do we want to do this again, or let's just do our own intro?
Yeah. Welcome. Oh, see, and then now it popped it up on there. So,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
so that is cool. That's cool, folks. Welcome to the live stream.
There we go.
I'm your host, Stevie V.
Joshin,
And I'm special guest Don Haines.
That's right.
special guest.
I almost want to say you are the first comedian we've ever had on this show.
Yeah.
It is 100%.
Right on. Well, it's the honor's all mine. This is only the second podcast I've done.
Heck yeah.
The other one I've done is with another guy in town who does stand up as well. His name's Art Delgado, but he is the host of the Shart Show.
Nice.
Him and his wife do a bunch of stuff, and it's a really nice, it's a cool podcast.
What's it
They
called
do
again?
The Shart Show.
Shart.
Shart.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes.
My style. I dig it already.
Very funny. Hit very local. Hit local places and
Oh, very
have
cool.
guests on, and
We're
so
all about local, man.
definitely.
That's a shit.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get the Shark Show to
There we
talk
go.
some shit on
There we
our
go.
show.
We'll what do they call that? Synergy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We'll synergize the podcast
Yeah.
here in Casper, Wyoming.
For sure.
Right.
Speaking of another podcast in Casper, shout out to Sunday Brunch with Bob and Ray.
Yeah.
Yep. Rachel actually, yeah, they're great people. Shout out to the Casper Artist Collective too.
Listen to that. Check them out. That's
Nice.
a good podcast too.
I will.
Sunday brunch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Sunday. I'm sure their podcast got released this morning.
Right.
Heck yeah. But we truly appreciate truly appreciate everybody that is tuned in right now.
And we're live.
Yeah.
And trained professionals.
Yep.
Don't attempt this. Shout out to Kamikaze Kid.
The Kamikaze Kid.
Yeah, he's back on the second season of the Big Show. Is that what I saw is going on? I saw.
I heard that. I can't say for sure, but
it's
what
good.
I hear.
We were talking earlier. It's good to see good things happening that represent Wyoming. Usually when you hear of anything or anybody in Wyoming, it's usually something bad. So yeah,
if it makes news, it's usually not good.
Not good. No.
We got our end turned up, my man. She is cranked up. Shout out to Jared for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I see.
Is the sound not coming in very well? I can't read it from
Yeah, that's what he said. We got her
it's the
cranked.
microphone thing, maybe.
Yeah. We can do this motherfucker right here.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna talk, you fucking grab it.
Okay.
You are tuned in to the Three Wheel Bicycle Podcast.
So we were just discussing, I don't know if you wanted to revisit the whole...
yes, let's do it.
Go ahead. You want me to start it?
Yeah.
I'll start it out.
Yep.
So we were talking about... I've been doing stand-up comedy for several years now, and some of the local fans and favorites have come, and, people have said, well, I've seen your show a couple times, and you don't always have new material, where's all your new material? And it's hard to try out new material because there aren't very many open mics in Casper, but it's weird because the thing is, every time you see a band, they don't have a new album.
Yeah.
I can't write. It took me a solid 5 years to come up with a good hour that's functioning and whatnot, just, because I have other things that I need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the example I made was when I went and saw Skid Row up on the mountain for I'm blanking out. What's the big
Bear
festival?
Trap.
Bear Trap. Thank you very much. Sorry. Yeah, for the big Bear Trap Festival. And Skid Row, it was great. I mean, it was fantastic. It was really good. But they played the one album, basically, from like 1989. I mean, at this point, it's almost, 30 some odd years old. And they played the one album and then the two songs from the other one. And everyone loved it. I mean, it was a great time. But, I don't think anyone was up there, hassling them, asking, like, where's the new stuff?
Yeah.
Play your new shit.
Yeah, it's the greatest I've ever heard.
I can't even see your face, Steven.
Well, that's all right. I don't want people to see my face anyway.
He's all about the voice.
Yeah.
Have you got into broadcasting before? I mean, you kind of have the voice.
No, not really. And crazy.
Kind of.
Yeah, I guess
Kind
with
of.
like the podcast stuff or whatever. But last year, it was one of those crazy whim things. Like I seen the Casper Horseheads were hiring, and so I got to be their live stream operator, essentially due to broadcasting my podcast.
Okay.
And just sitting up in the fucking press box, and just it's fucking cool, man. But
No talking, but
yeah,
should have.
Eventually. Yep. There's some cool
commentary
stuff that's going to be happening that I have I'll discuss afterwards.
Okay, I gotcha.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. I dig it. Listening to the smooth sounds.
Smooth jazz. That is. Gotta have the sultry voice.
And if you're looking for something different to listen to Friday.
Them are sensitive as hell.
Yeah.
You just hover your finger above there and it goes off.
If you're looking for some underground music from all over the world, tune into All Around Underground Radio on Zeno.fm.
All over the world now?
Yep, I do.
Hell yeah.
I got music that's pretty rad.
Right on.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
That Heath Ledger's Canoe. Yeah, it's so bad.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy shit on there.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Awesome.
is. It's some of the European music I've seen is, it's like Japanese rock and roll or
Yeah, I can't wait to interview that guy when he like sent me the stuff over and then like his little like album art. It's so badass.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
I've been getting into I've always loved kind of like the parody bands and stuff like that. I've been listening to the Cleverleys, who's they do bluegrass covers of like rap songs and whatnot, and it's really good. Green Sky Bluegrass does a brilliant Pink Floyd cover of Time. I know, but it's super duper good. But
I used to do security for a bluegrass festival in Pagosa Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
And the Four Corners Folk Festival. And I hung out with some cool bands like the Boulder String Society.
Okay.
They would always do stuff when we were jamming out after the show. Sit there and do Snoop Dogg and old songs.
Yeah.
It was cool shit, man.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to hear that. I like bluegrass anyway. So for me, like the bluegrass rap songs to me are just better.
Yeah.
I guess as weird as that is. So now, like if my kids will be listening and all of a sudden I don't even recognize the song, but I'll recognize a lyric and it'll it'll catch my ear and I'm like, oh, that's this song.
Yeah.
I'm such a dad.
What did you think about that? Have you seen that Weird Al movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
Really?
Now here's the big thing is that it's not when it came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's real," and it's like no, like he never dated Madonna. He wasn't drinky, smoky, and all of this and that. And my wife actually found a thing talking about how people picked it apart, and he Weird Al himself chimed in when it was like, and he was like, "No, if I'm gonna make a movie about my life, he's like, I'm just gonna make it fake."
Yeah.
Right. Well,
obviously.
If anybody is a Weird Al fan, you knew that right away from the beginning.
Right.
I started watching it, and there's moments where you're like, no, of course not. Of course not. This is funny as hell. And I like that kind of humor. I've always dug. Anybody that works with me knows that's what I do. When there's lame country music on all day at work, I'm going to make up some stupid-ass lyrics to shit. That's what I do. I can't help myself.
That's funny.
I'm not going to lie. When I first seen the
preview for it?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to
like,
be like almost like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Or something like that where it's kind of it's like a Hollywooded up biopic.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of real and it's kind of not, but...
Well, and he meant it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's done like that. No, I haven't seen it. I want to.
It's good.
Yeah.
I want to. I really want to.
I really dug it. A lot of people don't, but a lot of people don't like it.
See, I've actually seen Weird Al live twice.
Sick, dude.
So I saw him once when I was in 5th grade.
Nice.
I lived out in Salt Lake City, and oh my God, it was so funny. It was Weird Al, and it was the Monkees reunion tour. And when they tried to like late 80s heartthrob, was it Mickey Dolenz or whatever?
Right.
He came out and he had on this one piece, like lycra leopard wrestling singlet thing.
Nice.
And I just remember he had like a big kite and he come out and he had his hair was going and the women were all throwing their acid wash panties at him and
crazy.
it was funny, but yeah, it was Weird Al on tour too, and that was hilarious when he did like a surgeon. He come out, and it is like the movie like that. He used to come, and he still does. But I also saw him on the Bad Hair tour or Bad Hair Day tour when he was doing the Coolio songs and stuff. And almost every other song, like they come out in different costumes, and it's a whole stage.
That's pretty
if you
badass.
ever have a chance,
I've heard it's badass.
Yes.
I've never got to do
if you
it.
ever have a chance to see Weird Al live, I highly
recommend
it. It is, and it's clean fun. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
And
do a bunch of cussing. I mean, actually,
Right,
like,
and the
any-
fans
I don't-
aren't, I mean, for the most part, people just sit and laugh and sing along and everything.
Right.
So it's a real
Nobody's
it's a fun
moshing.
time. Yeah,
Nope.
yeah, no one's throwing empty beer bottles at them, and
Dang it. No, I'm
But,
joking. That would suck to be. Hey, that's an amazing question to ask you. Have you ever had anything thrown at you when you were on stage?
Nothing like that. A couple of times, people were joking and crumpled up money and threw it at me because
Well, that's
even though I had a tip jar out there, like trying to
Right.
we were talking about, the crowd always wants to be part of the show.
Yeah.
There's usually at least a couple of them.
right.
But no, I've never had anyone. Most recently, there's a viral Facebook photo or video that's been going around for I think about a month now, where a guy was doing a stand-up set, and there was a drunk guy and his drunk wife and his wife was heckling the comedian, and he shut her down, and then the husband threw a full beer at him.
Jesus.
Like I mean,
It should be like a stripper thing. You can't bring your significant other in here.
Well, and I mean, not to be, and everyone, but it really was like a turning point at the Chris Rock slap.
Right.
When you see people of that high of caliber doing it, then all of a sudden it must be okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't had that, but I've had people like try to ruin the show intentionally, and whatnot, because they didn't like my they didn't like what I was doing.
Right. Or
And
just
whatnot.
to be a dick. Just to steal
Or
the
yeah,
attention.
I'll not lie. I've shown up before, and I've had people that are drunk. They're like, "We got drunk and came here to heckle you," and I shut them down in like 2 minutes.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's usually pretty easy because when they're at the front chirping and whatnot, and because there is a difference. I just did a show last night over in Douglas, so shout out, obviously, to Vander Heiden Design, and thanks again, guys, for having me.
You're welcome.
But
man.
I want to make sure I have this right. His name's Brion, and it is the Thrive Advisor LLC is a consulting business.
Okay.
But he was great. It was myself, Art from the Shark Show, and then another gentleman named Eric Linden who came in from the East Coast. They did 2 shows at the Wolcott Galleria on Friday the 13th. And we did a show last night in Douglas at the American Legion, and it was a blast.
Yeah. Heck
So
yeah.
it was a real fun time. I only did, I think, 10, maybe 15 minutes, but the crowd was great. But the reason I talk about it is even in the crowd of 60, there was about 9 or 10 people who were pre-gaming, and by the time we started, they were already, but there's a difference between, drunks in the crowd shouting out and kind of working with you, so to speak, and if you can do some crowd work and whatnot, versus someone purposely fucking with you, or drunk talking or ruining the show. That's I threw my mom out of a show.
Yeah.
I did a Christmas show, and she was at the front it wasn't a Christmas show. It was around her birthday, and I want to say we were out at the Horseshoe, and and she just was drunk talking at the front and this and that, and I stopped right. I mean, I was in the middle of it, and I just stopped. I was just like, shut the fuck up, shut up. Right. And like, I basically threw my mom out of my own show, and I love her. I know she's never ever going to hear or see this, but I've never invited her back to another show either. And she knows. She's asked me a couple times. She's like, "Can I come to your show?" And I'm just like, "No." Well, I won't, I promise. And I'm like, yeah. I've heard that one before.
We got to give a shout out to the 7 people that we have tuned in right now. We appreciate you.
7's a good number.
This would probably be the perfect time to shout out them sponsors, huh?
Perfect.
We got that Ivan Two Bulls Tattoo and Mills.
And Thomas is over there.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Thomas Walsh is over there. He's the guy who tattooed. You can't see it, but he tattooed my whole head.
Nice. Oh, that's he donated a coupon.
Oh, gift
yeah.
certificate,
Check for my benefit. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thomas, he donated a gift certificate.
Carrie, she won everything and all of the things the whole night. But hey, you put in the money, you win the shit, right?
No, that was good. Rachel Schnepper, I did because I donated a stand-up package, and she had me over for her company Christmas party, and they
Very
had a lot
cool.
of fun.
Very
Nice.
cool.
We won that big cake.
You know what? Speaking of that, I'm actually waiting for her to come into the comments here because she wanted to ask you a question. So if she doesn't hop in here after a bit, we will. I'll just ask you. I guess.
Rachel?
Rachel?
Nope, Katie.
Oh, Katie.
Katie, Trailer Park Baker.
Oh,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Trailer Park Baker.
Yep, Mobile On-Site Oil.
Ivan Tubles. Checking out the show. Woo woo.
Little Shop of Burgers, of course.
Only tattoo shop in Mills.
That's right.
Right by the post office.
Ivan? Yeah, Ivan is the only one out there, I think.
Yep. Forbidden Leaf as well.
Yeah.
They got that. They're located in two spots in the Walcott Gallery and 2nd Street as well.
Debo's.
That's right. Oh, wait till you see the wonderful 3-wheel bicycle he
Yeah, we
donated
actually have
to
it.
us. It's in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I'm excited
Yeah.
to go see what's out there.
Yeah, it's a little cold. I mean, a lot of people in the beginning were like, dude, we love the being out in the garage. You know, it kind of looks a little ghetto. It's cool. There's shit to see in the background. We got shit to see in the background here, too.
Mhm.
Everything's badass, but
We were.
it is what it is. It's a little hard to bear the elements sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Matt with the Fumbled Penis podcast actually gave us a shout out the one time, long time ago, said that it looked like a podcast just landed in a meth lab or a crack house or something.
Okay, yeah,
It's like,
there we
heck
go.
yeah.
I
You
mean-
guys like, these guys fucking rock or something like that. It was that was pretty cool. We got off the cuff with Jed Kobernus and Cody Skotstead. They recorded an episode not too long ago.
Right on.
All these wonderful podcasts.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like and that's how I know I'm old because I'm like I don't get it. Like
Mm.
even I have a lot of friends that are like, dude, you just got to start with like the Joe Rogan Experience or Ologies or
Right?
some big huge something that everyone's into, and I can't. I'm just like, I don't know.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like I can't.
Right.
It's like
Well, I
reading a
hope this
book.
shit catches on because I would rather listen to shit about, I don't know,
Well, and
people
now
that live in my town talking shit.
see,
Than,
and now that I know what it is,
And that's
I
just
know I
me.
know to look up the local ones, and
Mm.
whatnot, because everyone's like, no, it's just people talking, and I'm like, well, that sounds like a radio show, and they're like, yes, it
Mm.
is, but
right.
That's, and to be honest with you, that's the aspect I like about it because like, it's like kind of like the radio thing, and that's another
but
reason
you can
why.
drink and cuss, and
Yeah.
it's
Right.
private. Like you don't have to,
Yeah.
like the FCC and whatnot.
Mhm.
No one's breathing down your neck because you have to.
Well, and see, that's another cool thing about internet radio is I don't cuss on it though because you know what I mean. I got on the radio,
On the radio.
know,
station.
right.
but yeah,
Out
So
here,
I try
people
to
are
keep
a
it
little more
clean.
forgiving if you accidentally slip up. I've found that out.
yeah. Well, there have been times where I'll be like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. This is my show. I forgot. You know what I mean? But I just try to keep it clean because one of the goals is like, at a restaurant or what have you, then, you know what I mean? This local, well, not only local music, but music you don't usually hear all the time on the radio. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah,
Right on.
I think that's all the sponsors.
Jessica's going to tell you, let you know.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Can't see your face.
oh, I don't care. I like to stay in the shadows.
I'll just call you the mouth.
Yeah. Another thing too, if you are in or around Casper in March and April, there will be I have my solo show at the Nicolason Art Museum, which is going to be pretty badass.
Right on, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. There's another show next week on Friday. It's like it's a miniature show. Like I personally did not submit anything because just hella busy or whatever. But the Casper Artist Collective, a bunch of artists just made little miniature things. So that's going on Friday.
Cool.
Definitely going to check that out for the wonderful art stuff.
I do like the art scene in Casper, you know, and I know, I mean, I'm not in a lot of Wyoming and whatnot, but I mean, Wyoming's been kind of always, and especially Casper's always been like a very musical, you know, state. You can always find, like, there's so many people, you know, it's like a guy with a guitar. I mean, and there's nothing, I love it. A lot of my really good friends are guys with guitars, you know, but there's always been such a huge boon of that, and I saw you guys had like a Shivers, you know, thing.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
It's cool to see, you know, the Shivers, you know, doing some of that kind of fucking grungy old punk rock and whatnot. And I know there's a lot of other, like it seems like the metal, the thrash metal, the death metal.
I was just going to say, we're the, what is it, advertising sponsor for the band Repent.
The band Repent, yeah. And, you know, Jeremy had me out to help him out with that one show, and that was your fundraiser thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
so, sorry. It all runs together, right? I'll blame the cancer, but...
shout out to the band Repent. Love them guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even when they had that beer at Oil City, the beer Repent. Oh, it made me sick because it was too hot.
Holy moly.
Good heavens, it was good.
Yeah,
for what it was.
Yeah. Pretty, spicy.
Well,
also, shout out to Oil City Beer Company.
If my buddy Brad just texted that he wants to trade trucks back, so if you're watching, you should be watching the podcast, bro. You know, and when it's done, then we can trade trucks back.
Trade trucks back.
You're busy.
Yeah,
doing something.
Yeah, I'm doing something.
We are broadcasting live in Casper, Wyoming. It is Sunday on the Three Wheel Bicycle Podcast.
I got her fucking about leveled out where we can just
leave her about here.
Yeah,
all right.
I got us turned up a little more than Stevie.
Cool.
I think we're doing good.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
You got the voice has to have his own mic, man.
Right.
I would really like to do like a really like late night thing, like Coast to Coast AM.
Ooh, there you go.
Ooh. We were just on the way here listening to Casey Kasem, old school shit, and my boy was like, "What does coast to coast mean?" I'm like, "What?" From one side of America to the other side of America, all across America. Oh, okay. Because he says that shit. Coast to coast.
Yeah.
Oh, Casey
coast to coast. Yeah, right.
I had a couple other questions wrote down for you.
Yeah.
Sorry if to the people that are tuned in right now that we're jumping from here, there, and everywhere. It don't matter, but we still appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I know we're kind of all over the place. It's a little. That's how you start, though, right? You kind of you come in big, and then
we're getting into it.
A little more coherent.
Well, maybe.
You know.
Yeah, people are probably tuned into the football
watching
game right now.
Watching Josh try to beat the fish.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which
just like Josh was saying prior, but the only time the Dolphins were good.
The last time Dolphins were famous was
Dan Marino, right?
Yeah, the fucking
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura. yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, when Dan Marino was hawking isotoner gloves, you know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah, he was a lady and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
when did you first start getting into comedy?
I didn't start doing comedy until about 4, almost maybe 5 years ago. Back in for my 41st birthday, I got cancer.
Oh shit!
I was throwing a little get together, and I wasn't feeling well, and I went home, and I basically was super duper sick, and then a day and a half later, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia.
Damn,
crazy.
Which means that your bone marrow is putting out juvenile white blood cells that aren't doing anything other than poisoning your system. So my body was slowly poisoning itself with.
Jesus.
But it's me, so I couldn't have just cancer. I had cancer. I had what the doctor said was the worst case of strep throat he'd ever seen. I had some sort of weird, like, bird avian flu at the same time. And then when I got to the pavilion, the Anschutz Cancer Pavilion, I also contracted C. diff. I got thrush and mucositis so bad that my mouth and throat and everything swelled up to the point where I couldn't eat or drink, and I had to go on a neutropenic drip for a week.
Jesus.
And then while I was receiving treatment, I also got E. coli in my blood. So at that point, I had what they call a PICC line in, which is like a permanent two port thing, and they put in your arm so that they don't have to constantly stick you with a needle.
Oh, okay.
But when you get it actually was on the underside of my arm. But when I got the E. coli, they said not 90. I'm not going to throw a percentage out there. A lot of times it's because of something around the PICC line. So they took my PICC line out, but I was still having to receive treatment. So every 4 hours for almost 10 days, they would come in and they would take blood from the tops of my hands, and they would have to prick the tops of my hands. And by the end of when it was done, it looked like I had been stomped on by golf cleats.
Jesus, dude.
So then I had to take like IV antibiotics and whatnot. But after they figured out and they knew what was going on, I've got a PICC line in. And then shortly thereafter, they took the PICC line out and they put what they call a port line in, which is where what they do is they make a small incision over by your collarbone, and then they run a tube underneath of your skin. And then they make another incision, and that tube goes and it drops right into one of your main aorta bloodlines.
Jesus.
That goes into your heart.
Right.
And the reason they bury it under the skin is to keep the infection down, so that if something happens and it gets infected here, it has to travel all the way there, so that if it gets infected, it doesn't immediately jump into your bloodstream.
Right.
Right. And whatnot. But they make 3 and 4, but I had a 3-port line coming out of here which I know sounds really funky, but was super great, because for the first time, like after they put that in, like I actually got to get some sleep, because they get the nurses and would be able to come in and draw blood without waking me up or having to numb me or do this or that. But
right.
But yeah,
crazy.
So I went through all of that at the beginning. And then I was discharged for 3 weeks while they were trying to match. I needed a stem cell transplant in order to combat this. And I was out of the hospital for 3 weeks, and my brother underwent some testing. And I know, I'm sorry, this is going to sound winded, but I'm trying to condense it.
Oh, you're good.
In order to be a matching donor, you have to hit 6 of 10 markers, genetic markers.
Okay.
Okay, and if you have a sibling, it has to be a full blood sibling.
Yep.
Because even if it's I have a half sister, but even if she was a perfect match, she'd only hit 5 of 10. Right. You have to hit more than that. So you have to have a full blood relative. And if you have a full blood relative, they say there's only a 1 in 4 chance that person will even hit 6 of 10 markers. And they tested my brother, and my brother, we hit 10 of 10.
My wife had to do the same thing for her sister.
So you understand, and whatnot. And they were telling me, if this didn't work, like it could be months, years, trying to find someone who matches, a specific genetic code and hits the markers and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And like I said, in 3 weeks, my brother came down and whatnot and got tested, and he hit all 10 across the board. So I was in the hospital for my birthday. And this is weird, I was discharged from the hospital on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, nice. That's my daughter's birthday.
And then 3 weeks later, I was readmitted to the hospital, and I underwent another serious round of chemotherapy. The first round of chemotherapy I had was really kind of, because I was dealing with so much and they didn't know how long it was going to be, they really just kind of wanted to get the the cancer, quote unquote, under control, and the only way to do that is by bottoming out your complete white blood cell system.
Jesus.
So
Right.
you're not immune to anything. Like you're completely immunosuppressed, and like So anyway, I got discharged. 3 weeks later, I'm back in the hospital, and I underwent another strong round of chemo, and then I had a stem cell transplant from my brother. And it's weird to say it is different than a bone marrow transplant.
Okay.
With a bone marrow transplant, they actually have to go into your bones and your bone marrow and almost like physically insert whatnot. With a stem cell transplant, what happens is they bottom you go in and they destroy your white blood cell system. They get your white blood cells count basically down to 0. And then when everything is gone, you get new stem cells, which then tell your body how to create the proper ones and not juvenile ones. So it kind of like it rewires the way your body works.
Yeah. Like I said, my wife had to do. We went to Seattle, and my wife had to get a PICC line put in her neck, and had to take all these drugs that boosted her stem cell production, and it made her feel like junk for days, and it was a big ordeal. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was pretty crazy.
It was an experience for sure, but you know, my brother matched, and everything came through. So I guess, you know, shout out to the Anschutz, Colorado Cancer Pavilion, because like everyone's always like, oh yeah, you know, really congratulations on making it through, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure the doctors had most everything to do with that.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, with the type of cancer I have, it generally affects people who are older, who aren't able to receive the strong dose of chemotherapy and go through what you need in order to beat the cancer. You know, that's being in there. That's, you know, that's, I heard the saying, it's not the cancer that kills you, it's the treatment. Where, you know, which is, it's amazing because you know, even 20 years ago, this would have been you know, an expiration date on my birth certificate. It'd have been over 100%. But even in the last 10 years, the research and the cancer research and the huge boost and whatnot, like so many, and there are so many different kinds of cancers out there that it had to catch up so fast in order, like, because you know, it was getting worse faster than anyone was able to. Now, it is a drag that unfortunately, you know, there is no cure for cancer.
Right.
You know, and
Which is still just fucking mind-boggling to me.
It is kind of weird, you know. Nothing's been cured for a while. You know, and even stuff that was quote-unquote cured is kind of making a comeback somehow. You know, measles, mumps, measles, MMR, you know, stuff, and we're not going to get into all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not touching that. But I mean, it's stuff that was originally gone is now making a comeback.
Yeah.
But, you know, as far as the cancer goes, unfortunately, like I was saying, there's another saying I learned while I was sick, and that is, a patient cured is a customer lost. And I think that has a lot of driving point to why anything isn't being cured. You know, you look at we were talking about some of these old time movies, you know, back in like the 50s and 60s, the doctor was the good old guy, and he'd come to your house and he knew you personally, and he was personally invested. Right. Now you sit in an office, you have to clear an entire day because you never know if the doctor's running behind. Yeah. So you sit in an office, and I mean, I love my doctors, and my doctors all know me, and I all know them, but at the same point, I'm just a customer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just a customer. I'm just a patient, you know. And I mean, there's a lot of money. And unfortunately, a lot of the, you know, and a lot of that I think has to do with like the pharmacy. And I will talk about this, the pharmacy and the drug industry. You know, if you prescribe so much, then you'll get a free vacation. Or, you know, the incentives in order to make these doctors, you know, maybe it's not quite right, but I could technically slide this in under this gray area, under, you know, and it will benefit me, regardless of what it may do to the patient. And I think that that is, you know, there's a loss between, there's definitely a loss between the care and the accounting. The hospital I was at sent me to collections before I was discharged.
Jesus, dude.
Okay.
Right. Oh yeah.
So there's a complete disconnect even in that.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, man. I wish I had the answers. I'm going to sit here, you know. This is my second big beer, so now I'm going to start having all the answers. I'm going to solve all the world's problems in 28 minutes.
Okay, so back to the
going
original question.
All the way back. Cancer is what made me finally start doing comedy. After it was all done and I had a chance to come home, I really wanted to get back like to where I was, and I went back to my old job and whatnot, even though I was tired, and I realized that I was in such a rush to get back to where I was. I didn't know if that's where I wanted to be. You know, kind of one of those things.
Gotcha, yep.
So it didn't, it kind of fizzled out. And then there was an open mic night over at, well, now it's closed, the Econo Lodge, which at that point I believe was the Ramada and Dukes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's closed?
Yeah, the Econo Lodge is closed. They put the, you know, the gambling people went in there and whatnot, but I haven't seen, there haven't been lights on in that hotel for over a month. Like I think it's dead in the water. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, back when it was the Ramada and whatnot, there was an open mic night, and they specifically were looking for comedians. And I said, F it. And I went one night, and I ran into another guy, Darren Bulow, who was really into it, and we talked, and we went to a couple open mics, and cancer is what drove me to finally say, I'm doing it.
Gotcha.
I've loved stand-up comedy my whole life.
Right.
You know, I listen, I still have, I wish I still had, but when a lot of kids were listening to music and stuff, like I was listening to Weird Al or Dr. Demento, but I still have, like, you know, my old Bill Cosby himself vinyl, or, you know, Stephen Wright,
awesome.
George Carlin,
remember that Eddie Murphy Raw?
Raw, or Delirious, Raw. You go back and watch that, it's just like, oh, my.
I grew up listening to freaking Richard Pryor records.
Yeah, Richard Pryor, and that's,
my grandpa would play them.
if you go back, if you can find some really old Bill Cosby stuff, like, he was kind of racist, and he was really part of that, like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, like it was a little, it wasn't the, you know, the Cosby Show, so to speak, by any means, but I was listening to that, you know, George Carlin especially. George Carlin was my man growing up. When I was a manager at Blockbuster Video, when we would close and throw everybody out, people would bring in, like, back then they made music videos.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And on a VHS tape would be multiple music videos.
Yeah.
Okay?
For the
older crowd, the younger crowd. Now a VHS is like,
we
is like
explained
a car
this.
cassette,
I think
it's
the
like
other
a car cassette tape, but it was for your TV.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But we used to bring in, you know, like from Sonic Rainbow, I had like some old bootleg, you know, music videos or music compilation videos, and you know, when the store would close, you know, throw those in. Yeah. Or as time progressed, you know, the DVD player, you could play CDs in the DVD player, and it would broadcast on the TVs in Blockbuster. But I used to put in the George Carlin tapes.
Nice.
Every night when I'd close and listen to those over and over.
That would have been probably kind of a cool job working at a video store.
It was my dream job.
Yeah.
I worked at Blockbuster when it was perfect time. Like, it was like 96, 97, 98.
Here?
Yes.
I worked
at the one on CY for about 3 years, but I also worked at the one at the Beverly Plaza, which is now Big Lots.
Yep.
And while I worked there, I also worked at the Beverly Twin Movie Theater.
Nice.
2 doors down. So at one point, I worked at the movie store and at the movie theater, like the same day.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, it messed people up because they'd buy a ticket from me at the movie.
Well, at least seeing it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure you have. I'm sure if you ever rented a movie at Blockbuster Video, you've seen me. But I'm aging myself.
Right. Well,
Nonetheless.
Nonetheless, Richard Jeni was another stand-up comedian that I really liked. Unfortunately, he took his life multiple years ago. But if you never had a chance, like Richard Jeni was really good. Bill Hicks was kind of around at that time.
I always liked I think he died from drugs, but he wore the pink glasses.
Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah.
Mitch Hedberg did
was
overdose,
funny as
unfortunately.
hell,
He was he burned hard and bright.
Right.
That guy had a huge future in front of him, and unfortunately other things got in the way.
Yeah, I liked his style of
He's
comedy.
very dry.
Right.
It was a very dry. It was like one-liners but dry, like Stephen Wright, Henny Youngman, just very sharp almost too.
Yep. Yeah.
I
like
gotta.
shit you don't think about. George Carlin-esque a little too. It was always my thing.
And then later, later it was like when the Boston Comics came out, Dennis Leary. And this can sound terrible. Like I never got into Janine Garofalo. I probably should have.
Yeah.
You know, but that kind of brooding coffee house stuff.
Blunt,
it's
fucking.
just not me.
Yeah.
It's just not mine. I mean, obviously, I'm wrong because she's very successful.
One comedian I cannot stand, and I don't really give a shit. It's fucking Jeff Foxworthy. Just that man's voice. Like,
regardless, I like his his backstory.
don't.
He was a nerd who worked for IBM or he worked for a huge computer company.
Oh, really?
And
so he probably was never a redneck then.
He is.
Okay.
I mean, definitely. He's a redneck. I mean, you can have redneck engineers, man. That's a real thing.
Yeah. That's
but he had a solid job, like a career and like this and that, and he like put it all on the line.
Yeah,
gave it all up, and decided that's what he wanted to do. Now, you might be a redneck, and I get it. But I mean, what is that? We've been hearing that for 30 years.
Word, dude. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that
shit was for parents.
I love Bill Engvall too, but like the whole "here's your sign" thing, like
right.
Or
my whole
Larry the
family's
Cable
from
Guy.
Wisconsin, dude. Larry the Cable Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Deal
and that's great. Those guys are very successful, but the whole reason is just like is because I mean it's a catchphrase.
Yeah.
It's like even if I watch The Simpsons.
A major.
Oh, they struck. That's a major chord. Yeah. No, that's.
Yeah.
The other one I never really cared for was Jeff Dunham.
No, I like Jeff Dunham.
Really? That's cool, man.
I do. I've seen him I've seen him both times when he came here to Casper, and again, it's not. As a comedian, it's just not everybody's comedy is for everybody.
Yeah,
that's
very
the whole point of having. I'm probably going to get hated on for this. I can't stand Pete Davidson.
I can't.
Oh.
He makes you sign $1 million NDA agreement to go see his stand-up show. And if you post poorly or give him a bad review, he'll sue you.
What, dude? Oh, my God.
I heard some shit about that, too.
Wow.
You have to agree not to say how bad it was.
Everybody always said shit about him on SNL, like, every skit that he was ever in, I'm like, dude, that guy is fucking.
I don't, and that's just me.
Like,
again,
I don't ever.
It doesn't fire.
As funny.
No, I don't.
That probably explains why he was at the very end of that one Netflix show that they had. I can never remember the actor's name or whatever, but he's like the host of the show or whatever, and it's all improv. But it's like other actors and stuff, and they have no idea what the fuck's going to happen.
The one, like the Will Arnett one, where they're.
I want to say it was something murder.
Something murders, like a crime scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be like all improv and whatnot. I haven't seen any of those.
I haven't either. I didn't even know that was a thing.
The only one that I watched, to be quite honest with you, was the Jason Bateman one, because I'm a big fan of that dude. But yeah, Pete Davis comes at like the very end, and it's like, oh, if this was like improv, shouldn't you have like that dude because he's such a, you know what I mean?
Right.
Pete Davis this, Pete Davis that, fucking.
Well, whatever. He's got BDE. That's the whole reason. That's from what I'm to I mean, that's
What's up?
What's going on, Chad? We got Deb. How's it going? Mike, what's happening? Murderville, thank you. That's the name.
Murderville,
That's the name of it.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for.
My buddy that I work with commented when we were talking before. He says there's a huge markup on the chemo treatment as well.
Yes,
Mm.
Right.
there is.
We know that there's a huge markup.
One of the weirdest things about me is they had to bring in one person specifically to administer, take care of the chemo. Like, and it's, at that point, I had gone in. I forgot to bring up when I went in initially, and they had me hooked up to the 2-line port. We called it my Christmas tree. I had 14 different bags
Jesus.
of IV of different things with what they called brains, and a brain can control 4 pumps. So it was 14 bags of stuff, 2 brains, and 8 pumps that they had to coordinate all down into 2 lines in order to keep me going. Anyway, I called it my Christmas tree. But yeah, when I got my chemo, there was one young man who came in, and that was it. That's all he did. He brought the chemo in, checked the chemo in with the doctor. The doctor didn't even do anything. Took the chemo out, hooked it up to my IV. Took about an hour. When it was all done, left, checked it out, and that was all he did.
Right.
But yes, that's the key. It's all marked up.
Oh yeah, all of it.
You know what I'm saying?
I wear a CPAP. I do a HSA thing for I quit doing that because it's a pain in the ass. But anyways, my insurance was paying for my masks before I switched to HSA. HSA, I got to pay for my own shit, till I hit my deductible or whatever. They were charging me $350 fucking dollars for a mask because that's what they were charging the insurance.
Right.
So I get charged like my insurance when I have HSA. It was like, what the? I can go online and get one for $45. What the?
Yeah. Well, here's when I learned. Oh, sorry, we have a comment.
Oh yeah. Andy Thole.
Oh,
Yeah, he says he doesn't have any audio on his phone, but I don't know if it's your phone or what. But we did have someone comment on what we were talking about earlier, so obviously the audio must be working properly. But yeah, he says that you'll be emceeing the juvenile diabetes fundraiser again this year at Oil City Beer Company.
Yes.
June 17th.
I'll be honest, I told him, I was like, I don't know, I didn't feel like I did a very good job. I'll be honest, it's one of the first MC jobs that I had. I wasn't sure what to do. But I am super duper excited that people want me. He told me that people liked it, and I promise to be much more charismatic and less beerismatic this year. So.
There's a lot of beer there.
There's a lot of beer there, but I got a job to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found out.
I gotta pee real quick.
Yeah.
Just
there's what we just found out.
Hey, that's
All
another one that we gotta record on here. I'm gonna do that. Make the potty song. Yeah, I did a potty song once.
Nice.
For Stevie taking a potty break.
Taking a potty.
The potty break song. Something like that. But yeah, again, man, since we're sitting here, thanks.
Oh, no, thank you so much for having me. That's
super badass.
I appreciate, Andy reaching out to me, and I've had, we talked about the band Repent and Jeremy and whatnot. I really appreciate you all reaching out. I've been doing this I'll be honest, I'm kind of getting discouraged.
Right.
It's hard to do what I do and maintain a full-time job and family, and unfortunately I can't, Jeff Foxworthy it and just, this is what I'm going to do.
And the support of the people count.
Yes, they do. They do.
We need to
say that stupid thing. We do it for the fans.
Right.
But
everybody needs to support local music, comedy, everything. That's what
right.
we're here for.
That's right.
All the
Attend,
local
show up. Everybody's
This
trying
is
to make a living.
this is kind of, I guess, essentially what we like to do, and that's why we would, appreciate support because, I don't know about you two gentlemen that are sitting here, but I'm sure you're on the same wavelength. If you would start something, pretty sure we would support that as well. We're still sitting at a pretty. We got folks still watching.
7.
Sunday's not too bad of a day, I
No,
guess.
there we go.
7 people.
We're still at 7?
Yeah.
Nice.
Shoot, last time we went, I think we went for almost like 3 hours.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Don.
Uh-oh. Who'd we get? What?
Stacy Howard.
Hi, Stacy. How you doing, darling?
You were just rad. Even
Yep.
if you did a poor job, which you didn't.
Oh.
Well, it is in the name.
Oh,
where's that
there
one?
it is. Oh,
Do-do-do.
yeah, the poor Don
Oh,
thing.
hey,
That's
Rim
yes.
shot.
Yeah,
Rim shot.
Rim shot. Oh, there it is. When I didn't even pick up on that. Look at you, being the comedian.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be on here. Yeah.
Yeah. We truly appreciate everybody that's tuned in right now.
Still at 7.
Yeah, we got
What's in the box?
the first comedian that's
What's
been
in the
on
fucking box?
Three Wheel Bicycle
House.
Podcast. What box? Oh,
From the movie 7. Because we're at 7 listeners.
Oh, yeah, 7. Yeah.
I
I was talking
haven't.
about techno music.
Oh,
That's a
I
song.
just, that's the whole thing. It's like before the internet and memes, all we did is yell Chappelle's show quotes at each other, and
Right?
Yeah.
so I just constantly it's just movie quotes. I'm
Yeah.
a movie guy. Obviously, I worked at Blockbuster in a movie theater while I was going to school. I mean, it was my dream. I made almost $4.85 an hour. I was crushing it.
Heck
Hell
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Have you seen that? Did you watch that fucking thing on Netflix with the dude with the smash thing that had the big old following with the meme or whatever? Kai.
No?
No.
Cobra Kai?
No. So it was
Hatchet?
quite a
The
quite a few.
Hatchet hitchhiker?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
thing? Okay, it just popped up. I saw
Yeah.
that. I hadn't.
All right. Well, I won't
don't-
say
don't
anything.
spoil it yet.
Yeah, I won't. But
I'm
pretty
still
pretty
working on
mind
The
blowing.
Witcher on Netflix. I revisited The Witcher, so now I'm hitting
Oh,
season
okay,
2, and
okay.
I want to watch the origin thing on that. That's
Ooh, speaking of the life and times of Don Haines, do you collect anything, man?
I do. I collect. I got a lot of Simpsons stuff. I'm a huge.
Very cool.
I'm
Heck
still
yeah.
a huge
yeah.
Simpsons fan. I have a couple of. I don't actually have like a tattoo of a Simpson yet because you have to get the yellow perfect. Because if it's not exactly what it's supposed to be, then the whole
It doesn't
tattoo
look
it looks
right.
off. And I see a lot of too orangey, too yellowy. So I've been holding off, but I have a couple of Simpsons tattoo. I have a tattoo of the Guatemalan insanity pepper that
Nice.
he eats way back in the episode with Johnny Cash
Yep.
and whatnot. And then again, you can't see it, but the whole back of my head is done. It's just it's the line drawing of Homer when he's confused in the dictionary.
No.
So
Hell yeah.
I need to. Well, obviously, speaking of The Simpsons, I remember like when I was younger, my grandparents for my birthday got me. It was like Bart Simpson riding the skateboard thing
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever. So rad.
Oh
dude.
yeah. I'm Bart Simpson. I remember when I was in 8th grade, I had the one where you stand with the skateboard, and it just said, "I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?" And I wore that shirt to school, and I got sent to the principal's office.
Oh, dang it! Anyway,
Oh, I know. I'm old enough to remember life before The Simpsons. I remember when Fox was just a satellite that was on Sundays for 3 hours. And The Simpsons was just, they didn't have advertisers. So instead of commercials, when it would just cut and it would just go to like the Fox logo. And that was it. And that's where The Simpsons started, is on the Tracy Ullman show. Instead of going to the Fox logo,
Yep.
he'd do 3-minute shorts. And I remember when The Simpsons was that, and it was like the Tracy Ullman show and Married with Children, duets, and Living Color, Herman's
Ooh,
Head.
That was a good one.
Probably some more.
Did you ever watch Max Headroom?
I did. I did
That
watch
shit
the
was
Max
crazy.
Headroom. I know. Hey man, that's the original.
That shit was crazy.
It was a weird show. That's probably
Yeah.
why it only lasted, I think, a season. Yeah, it was like the Geico Cavemen.
Right?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they got 5 episodes out of that, and I watched all of them, and I'm just gonna say that was terrible.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know they even made a show.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it was bad.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a,
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
You know what movie, or, well, not movie, show they should really bring back is The Critic.
I liked it.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty funny.
It stinks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, or it sucked, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. The Critic. Oh my. Did you guys ever watch Dead Like Me?
No.
It was only on for 2 seasons, and then they made a movie, and then they made a second movie, which was, it was good, but it was a cash grab. But
Mm.
that was one that I think was a great idea.
Yeah.
It was a great idea. Like even when you die, you're still got to go to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
Like it's
I don't think I've
a
seen
never-ending cycle. It's really
that.
good.
Right. That sounds cool.
But yes, I collect Simpsons stuff. I collect Futurama stuff. Ouch. I heard that one. My
Everybody.
wife and I we're big movie cinema fans, so we have tons of DVDs and stuff. We did
Sure.
Kickstarter. We did Kickstart back. There's some documentaries out there called In Search Of, and we backed.
It's just the computer.
Oh, they're really good. It's called In Search of Darkness.
Really?
And all it is it's documentaries. Each one is about 5, maybe 6 hours long, but it's all about the explosion of horror movies in the 80s with the rise of VHS and home movie theater, or everybody having,
Right.
movie rental places and stuff. But it's called In Search of Darkness, and they've done 3 of them, and each one is fantastic. Like the first one was hosted by Cassandra Peters, who was Elvira, and they have all kinds of like John Carpenter, and they have Tom Savini. They bring on actors and people who were in those movies and were in the time, and really discuss like the craziness of it and go into really a bunch of different aspects. It's really interesting.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Huh.
Since we're on the whole, like, a movie topic or whatever, started this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I guess, where I'll just essentially just like get a little soundbite from a movie just to see if Josh can recognize it.
Okay.
Oh.
So we're gonna
Yeah. Ooh, are we gonna play Name That Soundbite?
yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm on
Movies.
board. I'm such a movie guy. You guys have seen like my whole front is covered in movie
Right.
tattoos. I have tons of movie and TV tattoos all over me.
So I think what we'll do, fucking who cares about that computer shit? So I think what we'll do, let's play it, being that we have people in here watching right now. If you guys want to, maybe comment, I guess, or play along.
Play along at home.
Yeah, play along
go.
at home.
This
Yeah. We're gonna play the soundbite. I guess comment if you know what it is.
Am I guessing before they do?
I don't know. How do you think we should do
Well, if
this?
they guess, then I'll know what it is.
Well, don't.
So I'll
Well,
guess.
what if it's wrong?
Well, it might be wrong.
What?
It probably is going to be wrong.
People get movie quotes wrong.
You
Okay,
ready?
Here it is.
It's I don't know. This one's probably pretty simple, but
We'll see.
We're going to Disneyland.
You're lying, Cyrus.
So are you, Vince. Oh, nothing makes me sadder than the agent lost his bladder in the airplane.
I know the movie. I can't think of the name of the movie, though. I know who that is.
I'm drawing a blank. I'll be perfectly honest.
really,
I
all
don't
right. Well,
recognize
let's.
this, so-
I'm gonna play it one more time. We'll
Okay.
see if we get
Yeah.
some.
I mean, I recognize. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I can't. What's his name? The fucking bald guy.
We're going to Disneyland.
You're lying, Cyrus.
So are you, Vince.
Yeah, Cyrus.
Oh, nothing makes me sadder than the agent lost his bladder in the
Almost sounds like John
airplane.
It is. That's it
Okay,
is
so
John
it's John
Malkovich.
Malkovich. Oh, and Cyrus, that's Con Air.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Stacey said already.
Oh, there
Yep.
it is. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I worked at the movie theaters when that came out.
Really?
Yes.
You know, that was the very first movie, and only movie, I guess, nonetheless, that my dad actually went to because he saw the preview or whatever, you know, and oh, it looks pretty good. It's like, oh, fuck yeah,
Nicolas
you know.
Cage and shit.
Oh,
Right?
there's
Yep.
all kinds of Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave
yeah,
Chappelle's
he is
in it.
there.
I mean, obviously Steve Buscemi. I don't remember who played Swamp Thing, but he was kind of like the greasy priest at the beginning of
Right.
Beer Fest, who was playing quarters. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
That,
Yeah, John
Danny
Malkovich,
Trejo.
Danny Trejo. Obviously John Cusack.
Edward Norton. Wasn't he in there? Yeah. Yeah, he was the fucking.
Was he the Fed?
He was the dude that was all fucking. Or not. Edward
No, that
Norton.
was Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi's the guy who's,
Yeah.
you know, talks
Sorry, I
about
was-
wearing
Yeah.
a
I was
guy's
thinking-
wearing a guy's
I
face
mixed
as a
those
mask
two
and
up for some reason. I don't know why. They don't even look the fucking same. But
like
I always
they
mix
put
them
out
up.
that real super creepy vibe that he did something to that little girl, and
Right,
then you
yeah.
find out he
Yeah.
didn't, and it's just like, okay,
Yeah, he's all
Yeah.
fucking in his
Yeah.
fucking Hannibal.
Hannibal,
Lecter
yeah, he's
shit.
all lectured up.
Yeah. That was a damn good movie.
It was a good. It was a little. The whole bunny thing was a little contrite, but I suppose you gotta.
Touche. I guess the other really rad quote in there, I didn't get down to, was when John Malkovich, we were just talking about the Danny Trejo thing, and he's like, well, I despise rapists or whatever. You're like that white stuff that accumulates the corner of your mouth. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I know this is probably going to sound kind of fucked up, but
Uh-oh.
I never got a chance to ride on the actual airplane, but I've been on plenty of them buses.
Yeah.
And I remember fellas talking about them.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's when you got to, I guess, go out of state and whatnot.
Oh, so
And you
go on
got,
an airplane?
well, you know, and like Con Air type
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Right.
Be kind of interesting. Hey, this is nothing like the fucking movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think if you were on a real prisoner transport plane, it might not.
Yeah.
It might be a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume. I don't know. I felt like a prisoner on my way to fucking Germany. Well, I didn't have to do that, but fuck, dude. You ever been on a plane for fucking 13 hours?
No.
Jesus Christ.
No.
Yeah,
What's happening, Jake?
It's hardcore.
Oh.
Ooh, it was Friday the 13th the other day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was.
I left my house. It's unheard of.
I
My
almost-
wife thinks it's a good luck day. I do not.
I seen Jason. What's crying? Not a whole lot, man. We're just chilling here, looking, having a couple beers, chopping it up with.
Yeah. So,
Donna.
yeah, no, that's, sorry, not to be. I do actually have to skate out of here probably about 2:10 to 3.
Oh shit, you're good,
Fuck
man.
yeah.
So,
I don't even know what time it is. to
it's
be
just a
quite
little
honest.
after 2. I'm just
Oh,
letting you
gotcha.
know. I'm just,
Oh shoot, you're
I
good.
have
We're
a,
good fucking
I got a
hour.
tattoo. I missed my tattoo appointment on Friday the 13th because of a work scheduling conflict. So,
You got to go handle that.
yeah, I'm going to go get a little, down at Black Sunday. Unfortunately, one of the artists down there was in a very bad car wreck. And on Friday the
Shit.
13th, they did a flash party fundraiser, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend yet, so I'm going to go contribute my piece and whatnot. So
Yeah,
Shout
heck
out to
yeah.
them. Hopefully everything's
that's
good.
Black Sunday, and that's Caleb Rohr over there. So he's recovering, and he made it. He made it through. So we're all pulling for you, bud.
Heck
Hell
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I hate
Me
when
too.
bad shit happens to good people.
Yeah, no doubt.
I hear you.
Well, as I talk about, a little bit, and Stacy had to point it out. I go by the name Poor Don
Okay, yep.
because until I met Josh, I used to think like I had the worst luck ever. My house burned down on Christmas Day.
Jesus.
That's shitty.
At least it was right after the giant stock market crash, so my dad lost all of his money. And my senior prom, I got dumped at my prom.
Fun.
Yeah. Again, she had the decency to wait till after the dinner and pictures, though. So
Right.
that was nice. That was
So you
real
got
nice.
to pay for
Wow.
And then, when I turned for my 41st birthday, I got cancer, and that was a treat and whatnot. But compared to everything that Josh has gone through here, it's
Well,
like
I
all
don't
of
know
my
about
stuff
that.
is like mental and emotional. And Josh, you just like literally had the shit kicked out of you your whole life. Like,
Well, I guess. I don't feel that it's that bad though. I guess it is to each, however you.
no,
fucking
just
take
I mean,
it.
just
Yeah, I got. Somebody hit me in the fucking head with a pipe and killed me.
fuck, man.
I rolled my truck. That was my fault.
Got hit by a car.
I got hit by a car. That I guess
I mean,
it depends
Dude,
on that. how
I'm
that
with
goes.
you. I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but here's to being too dumb to die.
Right? Right. No, I hear you. I don't take that the wrong way at all.
Like,
That's a fucking fact, man. I guess. Or I meant to be here for some reason.
Right.
Some people say, but
still
I don't,
still
I
around
haven't
for
found
something.
that fucking reason yet. I guess.
Might not happen until right before it's over.
Or well, I have kids and a wife and shit. That's
See?
the reason.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I look.
Right.
My wife and kids, and I have found it's that and I know it's cliche, and you hear all about that. Sending thoughts and prayers and whatnot. But
Right.
man, when you're stuck all alone, and there's no one around, and you're just in your thoughts and whatnot,
Oh yeah.
to stop yourself from spiraling into some
Yeah.
gnarly place, like just knowing like that shit will really, I mean, even if people aren't there, like knowing that you have a wide support net is, I mean, it's a it's a healthy and powerful healing tool,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
and it
I
might be,
was blown away by how many people came to the show, responded. I was blown away by how many people actually gave a shit.
right.
It was cool, really cool.
All right. So was there any other questions you had there, Stevie? It's besides I collect a lot of like movie memorabilia. We're big fans of Caddyshack. We have a bunch of
Cool.
Caddyshack prints. I saw the Steve Zissou one.
Yeah, that's every movie that he's ever been in.
Oh, is it all at
Yeah.
once? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
He
found that
snagged
at
this
Denver
sucker.
Comic-Con.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even though it keeps falling off the fucking wall. It pisses me off.
Weird.
Old Carl Spuckler.
Oh shit,
Oh,
fucking
man.
yeah. We're not even gonna get into that.
No?
The Christmas thing. Holy shit, Christmas Eve? I don't know what the hell happened to me, man. I was fucking falling down everywhere.
Beer was 9.8 that night.
Holy
But
moly.
it was only normal beer. It just happened to miraculously, like Santa was
Right? Was it a fucking...
I was
out
was
in
it
the
a Christmas
garage.
miracle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out in the garage, all of a sudden, just fucking.
Drinking high octane.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I did have a couple of those. Oh, I finished off the,
Oh,
and
the
there wasn't
growler.
much. Yeah, there wasn't much in there, but the Oil City.
Yeah,
Well, that's you really don't. I mean, people are like, "Oh," it's like you drank a growler.
right.
You know what I mean? That's a half a gallon of beer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And the percentage is pretty high.
yeah, yeah. It's not,
Yeah.
you know.
It's not the minor leagues. It's like
yeah.
major.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking six, at least six.
Left-Handed Brewery makes a Big Lebowski beer called, I think it's called the Dude Abides or something, but it's a white stout. It's a white, it's a white Russian,
White
it's a white Russian flavored white stout.
Nice.
And it's it's as clear as a Budweiser, and it gets a real thick, heavy foam on it, but it runs like 8.9.
Crazy.
Damn.
And it's one of those nitro ones too, and oh yeah, it'll set you up, man.
Hey, my wife is watching.
Heck yeah! Shout out to Annette.
Hey, wife, do I look fat?
What time is it? Because is it? Should we
It's
go?
an hour 15 we've been in this.
Yeah. We didn't even really get into anything else, which whatever.
Yeah.
Should we go? Do you want to go check out some cool artwork, dude?
Yeah.
Before you head out,
Yeah,
you said
before I
about
bounce.
3 o'clock.
I mean, I can come back on a not podcast time too. I mean, I don't have
Touche,
a problem with
yeah.
that, but I don't. However you want to do it, man. I didn't know you said you had
We
a couple of
usually run
questions.
We're
So
an hour 15.
okay, but I didn't know if you had any other questions.
I do not actually. Oh, I do. I got to tell you this crazy story. So last night, all of a sudden, just heard like this loud bang or whatever. I thought it was the side door that opened. Well, the youngest, she woke up, came in the bedroom, which, I mean, happens often or whatever. I mean, it was pretty late. And then I just got up, went on the couch, and I heard somebody. This street is pretty fucking infamous, nonetheless, for people to, like, sit there and spin out.
Like over on this weird corner thing?
Yep, and, like, the one way. And all you hear is, and I'm like, shit, it's like 2 o'clock in the
People
morning.
like to build themselves a little fucking trough so they can get the fuck out. You know.
But I'm like, God damn it. And I could see the car was like coming this way or whatever. And the neighbor lady was like standing outside, which is kind of strange, I guess. And she's just like staring over there. And then all of a sudden I see all these kids just like mob to that car and take off. Well, the lady's like standing there for a while, and it's like, whatever, went and laid down. And I heard, like, walking on snow. So I went and looked out the window, saw some kid walking in, like, front of our house. And then I'd say probably, like, 15 minutes later, all of a sudden there's, like, 2 police right in front of our house. And I'm like, holy shit, what's going on?
Okay, okay, yeah.
So I opened up the window. I was, like, trying to hear, Then all of a sudden, like, another one comes. Nonetheless, you will see it, too, when you leave. The house that's like 2 down, they have these big boulders that are right out in front there. Somebody like smashed their car up into that and fucking threw them boulders up on the sidewalk.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude.
A little bit too fucking fuckered up coming around the corner.
This is a solid kind of chunk of ice. Just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
This whole
Through
fucking,
here.
all these.
Mm-hmm.
Like
those
all
are
of these little,
plows.
yeah.
You can't plow the road. Everybody parks on the street.
Right, so the plows can't fit, and then
Well, the one night when Jake was over, it was like a couple days ago or whatever. We're just sitting out there bullshitting, and all of a sudden Jessica calls. And I'm like, with him. She's like, hey, what are you doing? This fucking guy's been sitting out in front of the house for the longest time, and like he's stuck. So
you can get up to the top of the hill right here, and then you're fucked.
there's that telephone pole thing on the corner right there. That guy's fucking bravada thing was like, we'll probably say the bumper was about that close just for hitting that thing.
An inch.
And he's like sitting down and like this. Yeah.
so how should I get out of here?
Yeah.
Because they're in-
Oh, you're good.
you're
You're
good.
good.
Oh, okay.
You're good,
You're
buddy.
not a dumbass.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You know how to drive on snow.
I mean,
Most of these people are. I was trying to go to a fucking doctor's appointment the other day. I left normal time, 15 minutes from Mills to
Sure.
other end of town. No problem. Until you're behind fucking 3 people from California that have 2-wheel drive cars trying to go up fucking 2nd Street Hill. The whole fucking hill is packed with people can't go. It's like, what the
yeah, that's I.
4-wheel drive, bro. 4-wheel drive.
Yep. I switched over to Subaru all-wheel drive all the time, and that's, I mean,
That was good right there. All-wheel drive all the time, baby.
Yeah.
that's,
What is the...
but yeah, that's people are because I drive the little like the Subaru wagons. I had a Legacy wagon. Prior to that, I had a Legacy wagon, and now I have an Outback wagon, and everyone was just like, dude, you get to, like, really? And I'm like,
that
dude, these
little
are
light thing, you can go places
spectacular.
trucks can't go.
Yeah. I wish they were a little higher off the ground, a little better clearance. But
I had a Impreza, like a '94 Impreza, and it was all-wheel drive. That thing's like a coupe, you know. It's a fucking tiny ass car. I could drive that. I drove it like a truck.
Yeah,
you know, I was a teenager. I took
yeah.
that fucking thing everywhere.
Throw some good tires on it; they'll get you where you need to be.
It was the shit. The whole bottom all skid plated and everything. I drove that thing like crazy, dude. I jumped it. Oh yeah, love that car. Anyways,
Nonetheless.
A bit of a kerfuffle at the corner.
Is that your fucking tag? Is that your
no, because
what do you tagline?
Hashtag?
No,
Catchphrase?
it's not.
Hashtag's new.
That's
What did they used
well,
to
it's a
call
Jim
it?
Cornette thing too. Jim
What did they
Cornette,
used to call it in a fucking TV show back
A
in the day?
tagline. Or
Yeah,
it was a tagline.
Or like
a
catchphrase.
Yeah.
Catchphrase. That's what I was looking
Yeah.
for. Stevie's catchphrase.
no,
I-
that's it's like nonetheless. No, that's Jim Cornette. Jim, yeah. Anyways, yeah. If you haven't, that is another. Even if some of these people have they're not like pro wrestling fans or whatever, which I don't really watch the shit now, but Jim Cornette's podcasts are fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
his it's fucking pretty funny.
And Stevie has shit sent to him.
Oh yeah, he did. He actually did a cameo on Three Wheel Bicycle
our show.
Podcast.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
He roasted Casper more than anything, but still.
I've noticed that a lot of people who aren't from here, it's not to be, but it's kind of low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well, you got a commercial on TV. It says 450,000 people in Wyoming.
oh yeah. One
You
in
know,
3 of them
one
has
out of 3 has fucking
pre-diabetes.
Pre-diabetes.
Okay, let me get this out of the way. There's no such thing as pre-diabetes.
Right.
Okay, you might have high blood sugar. Okay, you might have.
I was gonna
if
say-
you're pre-diabetic, then you're also pre-hypoglycemic. Okay,
I was gonna say they should have a thing on there that says a list of: do you drink beer?
right?
Do you drink soda? Do you eat fast food?
You're pre-diabetic.
pre-diabetic.
Like nobody, like either everybody has it or nobody has it. Because
Right.
I mean, it's just there's no such thing. Back in the day, I remember people would talk about like I'm a borderline diabetic. Like, look, you either have diabetes
Yeah.
or you don't.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
being pre-diabetic is like being like mostly dead. Okay,
All of us, everybody
it's
in this day.
it's an either or. Like you either are or you aren't. But
Yeah.
you're not.
Right.
Yep.
You know,
1 in 3, bro. TV says.
technically we're all precancerous then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We're pre-tuberculosis. I mean, it's.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I hear that shit and I'm just like, I like don't make the public, like don't give it a more hypochondriac
right.
type of thing
Dude, it's
because now that
already-
everybody believes WebMD is a real doctor and every time you have a cough
Yeah.
or the diarrhea, then it's some sort of gnarly.
Well, the internet told me I have to cut my finger off.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
the public doesn't need anything else. So it's
Right.
I'll take that stand. I will toe that line.
How so? Before we close up out of here, how does one go about finding you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't, unfortunately, because I'm kind of that guy. I don't have a huge social media presence, but I do have a Facebook page, which you can find. It's just Poor Don. And I'm also on Instagram under The Poorest Don, which is where
Ooh, nice.
I post all of my comedy and whatnot. I really do more Facebook stuff on my Pour Don page. I talk a lot in my sets about gross food. So I post a lot of weird food finds and stuff like that.
I dig that. That's cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, no, that's because if you look, there's some really gross food out there, like for real.
Yeah,
you know,
I would have to agree.
Most recently, there's a fancy, like apparently it's an upscale ice cream place who I found previously had given us Tapatio hot sauce ice cream and mac and cheese ice cream. They have a new one out. It is Grey Poupon Dijon mustard ice cream with chunks of pretzels in it.
I'm fucking down.
Yeah? You gonna give that a shot?
I'm all about some weird shit, man. I was born and raised here, pretty much always been in Wyoming. I lived in a few other places, but like go to work. For one, I went to Kuwait to go for work and had a bunch of shit that I've never ate in my life.
I've seen a bunch of weird.
I'm kind of that guy. I'm down to try anything.
At least
as long as it's not like a balut fucking rotten chicken egg. Or,
see,
you know
and I've always wanted to try. I would try balut.
Yeah,
I would. Ooh. I'd try 1,000-year egg. I'd try balut.
You find a fucking balut egg, we'll fucking video.
Do that? Yeah. Get down the hatch.
I'm down. You down, Stevie? We'll have to do it in the garage or maybe in the backyard.
Yeah.
Balut, or like get a durian fruit.
Try those
durian fruits.
I've heard that is horrible.
That was another thing I wanted to touch on beforehand, or either or. Next time we have you on the show. It's gonna be a little bit of a different sort of podcast where we're not just sitting here drilling you with questions. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We'll have we can have a specific topic or just, you know what I mean, some shit. We'll have a good old time.
Structure,
cohesion.
Another thing too is I truly appreciate you stopping by, man.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Hell yeah.
I know we're kind of all over the place, but I appreciate
we're
you.
About that, I guess.
You know,
really.
Giving me a chance and whatnot. I do want to say that I do have a show coming up on February 18th. As far as I know, it's still on, down at Frontier Brewery. Sean Houck has been nice enough to let myself and 2 other local comedians, Art from the Shart Show, and then Darren, who I had mentioned earlier, who I'd met at the open mics a while ago. There'll be the 3 of us down there. As far as I know, it's going to be a free show.
Sweet.
It's so that's Saturday, February 18th at Frontier Brewery, free comedy show, and we'll keep it above board, so you can bring teenagers or whatnot. I think if younger kids probably won't understand.
They can't read cursive, is what he's saying, folks.
If you can't drive a manual, you probably won't get the jokes.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, once again, truly appreciate you coming on. Everybody that's been tuned in today on the live stream.
Rocking the 3.
We are going to close this out of here, or leave you for the day. Hey. Something like that.
Hey.
We appreciate you, 3-wheelers.
Peace out.
Thank you all.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 3-Wheel Bicycle Podcast. I'm your host, Stevie V.
Josh.
Coming live out of Casper, Wyoming. Thank you, everybody that's tuned into the Anchor and the Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, and everybody tuned in. Facebook Live.